Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about our relationship with life and ourselves from the standpoint that life is somehow supposed to be this beautiful, shiny, glossy experience with no pain, no suffering, no loss, no death. That love is this shiny, sparkly, pleasant experience, that life is this joyful, permanent vacation in exotic places experience. It completely separated us from the reality of this experience, of this life, and has brought us into a complete violence within. So a lot of what I am working on myself these last 10 years or so is about unshaming this human experience, unshaming my own life and everything that has happened in it, and unshaming my own relationship with myself. Of course, one of the more important expressions of that is happening through my acceptance of my aging, me as a woman, accepting the inevitable and absolutely natural occurrences that I am going through. But I see that our fight with aging is just one of the expressions of our complete misunderstanding of this journey of life and of what reality in these bodies and in this 3D experience actually is. So many people that I deal with as a coach, but also as just through conversations and exchanges of our stories, suffer because life is not going to a particular almost fantasy. We all had ideas, of course, as children. We all had our ideas and dreams and of how life was supposed to go on, and then also attached to particular milestones, how everything was supposed to happen according to plan. And nobody really talks to us in a wise way about how life is everything. Whenever there are tragic events that were happening in our families of origin, for example, very few families actually know how to grieve together, how to talk about it with wisdom. We still consider that, for example, death is something to be avoided, that death is something that is extremely difficult. And it is difficult for us because we forget that death is just as much part of life as birth. And I know I've thought a lot about this myself, and I know that it's difficult for people to come to that acceptance that death is actually happening every day and all the time, and it's something that we cannot guarantee nor prevent. We can possibly postpone it, but ultimately it's going to happen. So coming back to our relationship with aging or any kind of imperfection or sense of loss in our life, we're not used to dealing with loss as normal part of life. We live with the sense of entitlement that life is supposed to be easy and good and shiny and sparkly. And it actually is in so many ways, but because we are not able to take it in the polarity that life is shiny, it could be shiny and sparkling and absolutely magical, and it also could be difficult and full of grief and full of loss, because we're unable to deal with that other side of life. We're not able to be here for all the wonder and magic and shininess that is already happening. So to bring it back to my discourse about aging, what I'm noticing is because we are so reluctant to embrace the inevitable, and we're in this kind of fight with aging and the progression of life as it is, we're unable to, we put so many resources, both emotional and physical, into fighting the inevitable, that we're not able to fully be here for what is already happening. I know I'm speaking from personal experience, because when I was very, very concerned about certain surface issues, I wasn't properly here for my life. And it is only now, when I'm able to actually live in my body and feel my feelings and welcome my sensory, welcome the sensory feedback and feel the pleasure, I'm able to actually be here for the pain as well. And I just feel that what's really emerging for me, what's really, really missing in our relationship with the aging process, is that we're still fighting. We're almost fighting with our daughters. We're almost fighting with our children for the youthful existence. Whereas what our children, what our families, what our loved ones need more of is us stepping into the role of an elder. I could only become a wise elder to my children when I stopped trying to be the young woman that I no longer am, when I've embraced this process of aging and kind of live in receiving wisdom that it represents for me. I'm now able to connect to this wisdom and the truths about existence and life that I can teach my girls and whoever is willing to listen, that serve us well while we're still here. So this resistance to aging, to me, is a kind of an example of how we are reluctant to embrace life in most of its expressions. Anything that doesn't go according to our expectations, anything that becomes less than perfect, less than shiny, is shunned, is separated from, is pushed into the shadow. And what I'm interested in is really unshaming this human experience and living with it in all of its expressions, embracing life and death and birth and aging and growing and changing and shifting and embracing new ideas and embracing breaking out of status quo and embracing new ways of relating to this life. I just feel like so much of what we were raised with no longer serves us. It really keeps us stagnant, and I feel like where we're going, where life is bringing all of us collectively and individually, is really to embracing life in all of its range, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as I often say, because the more we can embrace it in all of its expressions, the more we can actually also take pleasure from the life that is already happening and unfolding in the now. Because what's going to happen in the future, none of us know or will ever know, but life is happening already and in the moment, and the children that we love dearly are growing and leaving. So I just, and the people that we love are also aging and dying, and I just feel like our ability to connect to this present moment and embrace it for everything that it already is can really enrich our human experience, and embrace it in all of its imperfection. Let me know how this lands. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening.